Alright, welcome to our spoiler-filled talk on Alien Covenant. I do this with my hands a lot, you don't see it on the camera, but I do. So, either you've seen our previous video, if you haven't, we've already set up the film, and if you're watching this video, you've seen the film anyway, so we don't need to go into the plot.
Yeah, who watches the spoiler movie?
Right, exactly.
The spoiler review.
Yeah, exactly.
Without seeing the movie.
Exactly, so, we're just going to talk about the more spoilery aspects of the film, what we thought about them. Obviously, number one, David, from Prometheus being on the planet and being essentially the villain of the film. Like absolutely lock, stock and barrel the villain of the film. And we see this progression of the kind of, like you kind of question his motives in Prometheus. Like, is he kind of acting on his own accord there? Does he have more free will than he should? And obviously he's one of the first of his kind. So they haven't quite ironed out all the kinks, and they talk about how Walter, also played by Michael Fassbender, has been kind of adjusted where he's not as emotional, he's not as, he's a bit more restricted and stuff, but he also can heal and things like that, so he's a bit upgraded, but kind of downgraded a bit on the personality front.
That's one of the things, actually, him being able to heal.
Yep.
He needs to be stapled up.
Yeah, at the end of the at the end of the film, I didn't see that, and that's the thing, which can jump all over the place here. But at the end of the film, when it turns out that Walter is actually David, and he's kind of done the switcheroo, I didn't see that coming at all. I wasn't thinking about it. I thought that it was odd how they left it with David and Walter, so I thought we'd cut back to the planet. And everyone's like, oh, it was so obvious. Oh, it's sort of coming a mile off. And, I can see that. But for me, I was in that lucky spot where I didn't think about it. And so I was like, oh.
It was still a question for me. Like, I didn't even think about it when she was stapling him. Like, part of me was still hoping...
Well, actually, no, I did think about it. But I thought, well, maybe these bigger wounds take longer to heal. So he needs to kind of, staple them up.
Yeah, but he got that thing in his neck, and you saw that heal immediately.
Yeah, I know, but...
And these cuts, that would heal, like, quickly. But he still had the cuts when he was fighting. So there is still, like, a few holes there.
Someone mentioned that, where was the hole in the chin that David had when she put the... Remember?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know whether you can see that, or whether he's covered it up, I don't know. I didn't look for it, so, yeah. That could be a potential error, I suppose.
I was thinking, like, well, why doesn't his hand heal? But maybe he can't grow out limbs again, and it was like the acid kind of melted it away.
I don't think he could grow a hand back. I think the skin and stuff could probably mend itself, but not.
I gotta say though, the way when it looked like David killed him, that came so suddenly, and it was so brutal, and so when the whites came in his eyes, and I actually. A little bit when that happened because he just collapsed in such a abnormal way. It was almost like he wrapped himself up.
It was straight down, cross-legged. It was like almost like something being reverted back to factory settings, like just like
which was kind of cool. Like I actually sat there and thought about that for a while afterwards. Like, why was he in such a weird position?
And
but yeah, like you said,
and like all alien films, quite a bit of sexually toned, scenes, like where he's kissing himself and just this weird kind of messed up
flute playing scene.
Right. What do you think about that?
I understand it because of David and his crazy mind, like obviously you finally see like something that's similar to you, and I guess he wanted to. Almost like Darth Vader, he wants Luke to join him, but or whatever. He wants him to join him. Obviously, it seems like they could be a good team, and just kill all these people. Maybe he wanted to see if he could change him in a way or something.
Yeah,
because
I think it was more experimentation.
He wasn't able to play, but it was uncomfortable in a way. Because of the way it was shot. Like, it didn't feel like a brother-brother moment.
No.
It felt like him manipulating him.
Yes, definitely.
And it felt like him trying to take control over him and change him and see if he could mold him, but also...
Yeah, I don't think it was more about him wanting to join him. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to join him. He just wanted to see what he could do with him. Just experiment with him.
Like a toy, in a way.
And
he was like, excellent, and it was, it didn't feel good to watch it because by then
don't think
I
it was
was
meant to.
already but like already I was starting to think like what is David, you know?
Right, true. At that point,
Yeah,
he hasn't
you
fully.
didn't really know.
He hasn't revealed
yet.
his intentions yet.
Yeah.
And that scene, I thought, just technically, because it's obviously Michael Fassbender sitting across from each other and the hands and stuff, and I just thought it was well done. Like the camera moving back and forth and stuff, and one take.
I don't think it was meant to like be a feel good moment.
No,
The
of course
music
not.
was weird.
No.
The camera,
No.
everything, the whole atmosphere around that was very uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
I felt like that was more uncomfortable than when he came back to him and he knew that he was a bad guy and then he kissed him. Like that was just like almost like I expected it.
Yeah. I loved the device of the Ozymandias poem being recited by David.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah,
I've never heard it.
and it's a great poem, and I love the inclusion of it, but also that David quoted it as the wrong poet. He's like, oh yeah, what did he? I think he said Byron. You know, brilliant. You know, what a masterwork. And later on, Walter says to him, no, it's Shelley. And that's when you realise that that's a sign of David losing something. You know, it's a sign of he isn't as fully perfect in his head as he might imagine himself. And that's probably the key part of the film, is that again this idea of artificial intelligence and playing around with the themes of that, and of course the idea that David created the xenomorph, and that humans created David. The humans were then created by the engineers. David then destroyed the engineers, and then he wants to create.
Who created the humans?
He
wants to destroy the humans.
I like it. I like that touch. For me personally, I prefer the first two Alien films for what they are. At no point do I go, where did those aliens come from? It's and my mum said that to me. I was like, that's a great point. You don't leave Alien or aliens going, I wonder where they came from though. So
yeah, because it was a different planet, and so obviously there are other creatures there.
Yeah.
But you would have thought that an alien species made those eggs and then made those facehuggers. But in this movie,
right,
he makes the facehuggers.
Yeah, but then in Prometheus, there's a mural on the inside of the ship that has a xenomorph in the thing, or it looks very much like a xenomorph. So it's confusing, and so.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know what the story, whether they're trying to retcon it or something. And like I said, I prefer just not really, going, oh, where did they come from? But seeing as they are telling this story, I'll go along with it because I enjoy the franchise and I think that there are strong elements to it. But I am a bit disappointed in some of that stuff. Like, how did David make an egg? Did he birth it? Did he shit it out himself?
Which isn't Ridley Scott, but still.
True.
There's a queen who's laying the eggs. And so that kind of gave an answer to where did the alien eggs come from. But I do like, because it was confusing to me, like, why are there aliens coming out of the human bodies, out from those spores or whatever, and the black stuff? And why do they look different? Why don't they look like normal aliens?
Because,
why are they white?
Because they haven't been hosted in the right way.
Exactly.
It's different kinds of.
You get that answer because of the egg.
Right.
Like, because he shows, like, I've experimented, and he shows all these different.
And that was a horrifying
shapes.
scene, seeing all of the, the failed experiments and everything, and seeing how far he'd taken this and playing God and all that.
Yes, and that's the whole thing. He just wants to be God.
Yes.
And that's why he killed all of the engineers.
And how he's such a great villain, like most great villains, is that he believes what he's doing is the right thing. He doesn't see himself as a bad guy. He sees himself as, I'm doing this. And I love the first
evil.
the first scene of the film rather is David speaking with Wayland, his creator.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce came back to play the role. And, we understand that David has this encyclopedic knowledge of the arts and things like that. He can play music, any music he wants. But then David clarifies later on in the film that he can't create anything, or he was programmed not to, I guess. And that was a frustration that he had. And then we hear that he has made this tune on the flute, which is actually the theme from Prometheus, that he composed in memory of Shaw, who doesn't make it into Alien Covenant. And that was not really a problem I had, that she was dead by the time we get to, this planet. But it was the way in which we see her fate that just horrific. Just seeing her body just splayed open on the table and just her head at the top. it was a character I really liked in Prometheus, and I just think about her optimism at the end of Prometheus. That I want to go and find out where these guys came from, and she never got to, and got just just.
She was used by David
Yeah,
for an experiment.
and he talked about how he loves her, and we see him crying and stuff, and so I don't know whether this is, his program has deteriorated to the point where he is feeling emotion, or he thinks he's feeling emotion. I don't know I'm not sure what
I think, truly that he was actually grateful because she
Oh, sure.
started it all. Like, he found out, okay, so I do actually need her as a host. Or a human. And
Right.
that's why he knew that if you brought that guy downstairs into where the eggs were, he knew that the xenomorph would come out.
Yeah, and I think that the captain who saw that David was kind of toying with the neomorph, and he shoots it, and he's like, right, you better tell me what's going on now, or I'll shoot you. And David's like, okay, come with me. Comes down and shows the captain all of these experiments, and he says, oh, come have a look at some of my successes. So he follows him in. We see the eggs that David has created, and the captain no longer has his gun. I would still be pointing my gun. And then you see these eggs in this creepy chamber. Like, why wouldn't you be ready? And then he's like, oh no, it's quite safe. This thing opens up. Like, it just felt all too right. We need to get the xenomorph in the film as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and then of course you have the problem with the time.
Right, the facehugger comes out,
how long
and
it
then
takes, because in Alien it clearly takes at least a day.
I think conceivably you could say that he might have been there for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
but not a day.
But they didn't make it seem like it
and
enough. They should have shown time passing
but
by in a
and
better
you
way.
can you can even explain it away to the point where in Alien and Aliens and stuff, the facehugger was on the host in a different planet with a different environment and that kind of stuff. So you could say that it's different, and it could be accelerated. But the thing I didn't like was when the chest burster burst out of the captain. And it comes out, and it's like a little miniature version of a xenomorph. It isn't the child
it's
version.
Not the chest
It
burster.
would be like a human being born with a goatee and frown lines. It was okay. So it's a fully formed xenomorph with the long head.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't like the look of it either, because it looked like they modeled the whole alien and then they just scaled it down because it had so much small intricate details. It didn't look like a baby alien. It just looked like.
And I'm conflicted because the alien then stands up and raises its arms as David does the same, and I get.
David does it first, and then the alien mimics him as if they've imprinted on each other, like he knows it's the mother or something.
I get the symbolism. He's the puppet master of all of this. It's a cute little kind of.
Yeah, but the alien wouldn't do that.
Alien
wouldn't do that.
That's how I feel. It's a kind of double thing where I feel like us seeing him creating all these different versions of aliens, it gives us the idea that he's the puppet master of all of this. We don't need to see this kind of goofy. It just felt a bit odd to me, and especially considering that when the neomorph comes into the room and David is trying to, I think he says something like, "Oh, breathe on a horse's nostril and you'll be a friend for life," or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah, I liked it.
That was creepy.
And I loved when the captain shot the neomorph and David just reacted in horror, like, "No!" Like,
yeah, like
it
trusted one of
me.
his babies almost.
Right, yeah. And
it was like the Queen in Aliens, the reaction. It was.
So, yeah, that was the puppet master scene was a bit. I didn't like that, I guess.
No, I didn't like that either.
Where do we go from here, I guess? But yeah, like I was saying, with Shaw, it gave me flashbacks to Alien 3, where we see Newt, who just, I enjoyed Newt as a character far more, but just seeing this character from the previous film just get their body opened up and stuff. I guess in Covenant, it's even more extreme, because her whole body is just being opened up, and it's just disgusting.
It's supposed to be like that.
And
it's a good thing that you reacted like that.
I know, it's almost to the point where it puts me off the film a little bit, because it's so horrible. But also I wonder, how long was her body there? Because if the body would decompose pretty quickly, I think. I don't know if it's implied when she died, or if she's been there for 10 years, he's been holding her hostage. I don't know what the deal is. And also...
Yeah, when did she die? How long was she...
Yeah, and your imagination can run wild on that. A friend of mine said that to me, and I was like, that's a good point, because you don't know how she died.
Yeah, she would be a skeleton after 10 years.
Yeah, and that's a question that I don't think we'll ever get answered. That's just one of those things.
Well, we could have mummified her in a way, or just put something on her, or maybe it was really cold.
And I also wonder, where... Well, I guess they must have had stuff in the city, because it was a city with another civilization. Let's talk about that. David wipes them out. We see a shot of that. And this airborne virus thing, like we saw the jars in Prometheus, just a drop of that, a single drop put in a drink, within 24 hours, 12 hours even, has given Shaw this alien in her belly. So how is it that when David drops like metric tons of this stuff over an entire city, it just kills them and that's that, and there's no creatures that come out of it? Right, I don't know what the deal is.
I didn't see the creatures coming out.
Right, and again, one drop creates this creature, a mutation. So surely there would have been tens of thousands of aliens running around. So what happened to them? Do they have a short lifespan? They just died out. David wouldn't kill them all. I just, that part of it kind of, I guess you could say that when used en masse, it just kills people instantly. And I don't know, they just didn't have a chance to host anything to mutate them. And
because there was too much of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe too much. That's another thing though. Like in Prometheus, it's liquid, even when it touches the air, but he does say in Covenant that when that liquid touches air, it becomes spore-like or whatever.
I guess there's different versions of it, I suppose. We don't really need to be
but
that
then
specific,
again,
I don't think.
you have in Prometheus, he drinks the drink and he gets it inside of his body, and it takes a day before he starts changing. And the same amount of time for her to be ready to have the thing come out of her. And also, he turns into something weird. Yeah. Like, he survives being burnt in Prometheus, and then he's still awake, and then he starts going ape shit on everything, and he's super strong and stuff.
That wasn't him.
None of those people...
That wasn't him. That was the
That terrified me when you said that.
It wasn't. It was the geologist. I like rocks. I love rocks.
Who got the thing down his throat?
No, that was the other guy. It's the one who.
Why did that scare me so much when you said that wasn't him?
You know in Prometheus where the thing goes to the guy's throat.
But he was burnt.
I don't know. Oh yeah, he was burnt because the stuff went on his helmet and it melted into his face.
Oh.
But yeah, that was him who came back to life and had all that super strength and stuff. It wasn't the boyfriend. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
90% sure.
Okay.
We can go anyway. So.
Why did that scare me so much? Like I feel like looking around. That wasn't him.
Right. So, Fassbender was just incredible in the film. Playing these dual. I guess Walter wasn't that impressive of a character, but his performance as David was just very creepy and an incredible villain with a lot of layers to him, where you can just dissect that performance, that character, this guy who, not even this guy, this thing, this creation that believes he's more superior than the people who made him. Going back 2 generations, I guess, 2 species, and decides he wants to wipe both of them out, and then it leaves you on a very interesting note at the end of the film.
It's again like if we create that artificial intelligence, we're doomed.
I know.
Because they would be better than us.
Right. Yeah. But I like that you see how just this master plan he has. Well, not even a master plan, but he has all these big ideas and stuff, and is this because his mind is a computer and all that kind of thing. He has like, what's the way to put it? I'm losing my train of thought. He can be more precise because he can calculate things or whatever. But we get that hint that his brain or whatever isn't quite what it is because he got the quote wrong. I just love that little detail because it throws that thing into it where it literally is like an android version of losing your mind, going senile maybe, where it's the degradation of the digital brain and...
You need software upgrades.
Right, exactly. I think that's a bit of a cheesy line when Walter was like, "We've had some upgrades since you were a model," or something like that, and it was,
It's almost like Terminator.
It was, yeah.
I thought that fight scene was great.
Yeah, Fassbender.
I thought it was a very good mixture of jumping between scenes.
Yeah, in what other film would you see Michael Fassbender fighting himself and kissing himself?
Playing the flute very erotically.
Playing the flute very erotically.
What else?
I liked how.
Did you notice? I'm sorry, but she does say, "I got you, you bitch."
You son of a bitch. Yeah.
You son of a yeah.
Yeah, that's from the original.
Yes.
And there's also a bit where I think it's when David and Daniels are fighting, and she sticks the thing through his chin, and he's like, "That's the spirit."
Yes.
I'm sure that's from Blade Runner.
Yes, it is.
And of course, another Ridley Scott classic.
I found when he attacked her extremely uncomfortable when he kissed her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that how it's done or something?
Yeah,
and that was like I think I was more scared then when that scene was going on.
It's a very invasive thing, and
yes,
again, sexually charged
undertones,
overtones, whatever you want to call them.
Yes, it was very uncomfortable.
I also love that again, to go back to it, how David feels repressed by his lack of being able to create things. Not being able to create his own music, being boxed in where he can only do stuff other people have done. And in the prologue, which isn't in the prologue clip that they released on the internet and we saw in the cinema, where you see the journey of David and Shaw on the ship, there's a short scene where he draws a picture of her and shows it to her.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a fairly crude drawing, it's nothing fantastic. And we now see, 10 years later, that he's become this artist. Like, he has all these drawings across the wall.
And that she was...
And Daniels finds his masterpiece, these Giga-esque kind of images he's drawn of Shaw, Elizabeth. So I like that you see that he's getting better at these things and he's become this kind of artist of horrific images and creator of horrific things. So, yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like it. I just wish there weren't those flaws that really bug me, like how did he make the egg? Are they really saying he created the aliens? Why is there that mural in Prometheus with a xenomorph on it?
It's kind
and
of
also
funny though, like, because in the end, if humans hadn't made them,
hadn't made what?
Hadn't made David.
Right.
Then the aliens wouldn't exist.
Right. Well, I don't know, because again, in Alien, the original, they find that ship, and they find the jockey, the big guy in the chair, and his chest has been burst, and they're like, oh, it looks like it's been fossilized, been here thousands of years. Alien only takes place, within 100 years or so of Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Are you sure?
Yes. So.
Damn it! Because I was thinking, because of all of those eggs that they find in that ship in Alien, because there are probably about 2,000 eggs.
Yeah, I think Ripley says in Aliens. What's his name? Kane said he saw thousands of eggs.
Yes, exactly, and there are 2,000 colonists. Did you come in?
No.
And so that would be the appropriate amount.
Right. Ah, yeah.
And so I was thinking, so maybe that's where it's going now. He's going to crash that ship over there and make sure there's a beacon that calls out to the people. And then you have Ash. Oh, did you know that this was the first time that they went away from the alphabetical order of the Android names?
Yes, I did notice that.
You read that trivia as well.
No, I just knew it. That's one of the things that Ash, Bishop, Cole, David, and then Walter. And actually, David and Walter are the names of the two guys who produced the original Alien film. Anyway, anything else we can add? There's loads of stuff. You could talk about this forever.
There's so much.
Yeah. Lots to
I
debate.
was really, really distracted that James Franco wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, he's in a short film that is part of the film, but it's separate.
The prologue thingy. And so I was like, oh, right, so he's going to be in it. No. You barely even get to see his face before it evaporates. No, before it gets burnt. And he's not in it. And then I was like, I didn't even know that was him. Mm-hmm. So I was waiting for him. And then she opens the laptop and it's like a video of him. And I'm like...
James Franco.
Yeah, and I was thinking, is it her husband, the guy in the background almost falling? Is this a joke? But no. And then it was clear. And I was like, really? Because out of the two, I wanted him to be in the movie over Danny McBride. But I'm glad Danny McBride was in it. But I was disappointed.
I liked how because it's a group of couples, that when people start dying, that there's more of a reason for them to be upset and stuff. I don't feel like it got fully exploited though. I don't know. Like, I feel like
what do you mean exploited?
I just feel like they'd be more emotional, that they just lost.
It's a matter of life and death. I'm pretty sure you don't have time to think.
I suppose, but but in the moment. But then they go to that big building in the city, and they're there for hours, and they're sitting around kind of glum, but they don't seem to distract. I don't know. I felt like it could have been just added a little more emotion to it in some scenes. Daniels,
she did it pretty good.
She did a great job.
But she wasn't in a stressful environment right away.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of the captain, because he lost his wife and saw her burning fucking body crawling out of the ship. Like,
he was going to go for a walk and have a think, though, when he was going to look for that girl who got her head ripped off. So maybe if he hadn't
Right,
encountered
yeah.
David trying to kiss an alien almost,
Yeah.
blowing at its nostrils.
I guess that Catherine Waterston just did such a good job in the beginning of the film showing grief that I feel like when other characters didn't show that level, it kind of, I don't know, threw it off balance a little bit. I guess everyone's different, but that's just something I thought in the film.
Well, the captain was lying there on the ground for a bit watching
Yeah,
the fire.
I know, yeah.
And he was in shock, you know? He didn't have time to. If you're about to die and get killed by scary monsters, you don't have time to grieve. You kind of gotta, try and save the rest of the people.
I can see that.
People grieve in different ways.
People are...
I love the xenomorph. I just gotta say it again. I loved seeing it again.
That's another thing I didn't like, was that the shower scene is in the trailer.
I hated the shower scene. It was stupid.
Right, but I thought it was fine. But I mean, just the fact that it's in the trailer, and yeah, I liked it because there was a naked woman in it. Yeah, I'm not 15. I thought it was a cool scene, and
because that would be a crime.
it was a cool scene, but they used it in the trailers. And so, we're 10 minutes from the end of the film, and I thought, well, we still got the shower scene to go. So obviously that guy has got an alien inside him. We're going to get the, so, and obviously with an alien film, it always has the kind of, oh, it's over, and then, it kicks up again. So.
Double tap.
Double tap.
Zombie land.
Oh, right, yeah.
When you think they're dead, they're not really dead.
Right, yeah.
They're coming back for you,
Yeah.
It's not over until you see the credits. And sometimes it's not even over then nowadays.
Okay, it's not over till it's over.
But I didn't like the ending like that. I felt very climactic or whatever.
It felt like a bit of a let's rush into another kind of final battle with the alien, and I didn't like how we kept seeing the alien through like the security cameras. I mean, yeah, with all the cameras you would be able to see it, but the suspense of not seeing where it is better to me than seeing it scurry down the ladder and stuff.
It didn't. It wasn't suspenseful at all to me. It was intense, I guess.
Intense.
But like you can't help but compare it to Alien.
Mhm.
You know that it's there, and she's just every time she rounds a corner, you expect to see it. And she's got a cat as well. So you care more about the cat, really.
Yeah, and even Aliens, which is a bit more action oriented and more of a kind of a face off, was a bit more, but
It's even suspenseful when she's face to face with a goddamn queen. That's suspenseful. But in this one, it's just action all the time.
Yeah.
And it's more like, just get to that place at the right time,
I don't think it was bad. It was done well.
No,
it was good action.
You could have done it better.
It was thrilling, but like you say, not suspenseful.
It felt rushed in the end too.
Yeah.
They packed a lot of stuff in the last 10 minutes. And also, I didn't like the reveal of David in the end.
Right. See, I liked it. I thought it was very good. I liked nice touch.
I felt like it could have been different because since I knew it was him, it
Right.
had to be him. Yeah. There was no way that it couldn't be him.
So weird that I didn't even consider it. It's so obvious as well.
To me, it was too obvious. And I was so confused when he let them kill the alien on the ship.
Right, his creation. Yeah.
Yes, and I was just thinking like, wow, he's actually letting it die, but I saw something in his eye. And after she killed him, his hood flew up, which was and it just went right back down again. And David's hood was up when he met them. But Walter's hood was up when he was alone on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know if that means anything. Yeah, and so he lets the alien get killed there, but I'm thinking, well, maybe he's got some plan or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
And how did the
the
gay guy get impregnated?
Because there was a facehugger on him.
Yeah, but he was still screaming, "Get it off! Get it off!"
Well,
like, how did it even get anything in him?
It clearly had the time to do something. That's all there is to it, isn't it?
I think that ruins the old movies. Why is it on there for so long? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, and then the second alien comes in, and I'm just like, okay, so this is it then. But no, he lets them kill them as well. Why would he? What?
What do you mean he lets them kill them as well?
No, he lets them kill the second alien
right.
on the ship. And that doesn't make sense to me, because then he's got his alien, and who knows what he could do with that on the ship.
Well,
And he lets them get incubated. Maybe because he was thinking, well, I need these 2 people from all my small alien babies.
yeah, I don't know what his plan is, because I thought that because when Daniels realizes that it's David, and she starts freaking out inside the thing, and then like she kind of goes unconscious. I thought that was him killing her, but then he sends it.
Why did you think that?
Well, why wouldn't he kill her to get rid of her? But then the message at the end is like, oh yeah, all the crew died except for Daniels and Tennessee. But then, I mean, when they wake up, they're going to go nuts. So, is he going to kill them in their sleep? I don't know. I mean, obviously he's going to...
I think he's going to impregnate everyone.
Probably.
While they're there. And then...
God knows, because, I mean... They've got 7 years before they get to the planet, and
but
he got
if
the
he does
two
that, we
the
won't
two
have
embryos,
a movie next time.
and he's got the 2 embryos as well. The kind of little face hugger things. They look like, I don't know what. I guess he'd stored them in his throat and regurgitated them back up. So yeah, I think we've exhausted all our discussions.
Did he store them, or does he create them inside?
Or does he create them using biomechanical? Maybe that's part of the
process. You know, perfect organism. Maybe that's why they have acid for blood. I don't understand it.
Right.
How are they? That's what frustrates me the most. I have so many questions.
I know, yeah.
And I am so sure that Ridley doesn't have the fucking answers either.
No.
He's just like, this looks good, let's do this.
Yeah.
Why? We'll get around to it.
Yes,
He's kind of like Peter Jackson in a way right now, I feel.
I
it's
do.
like, just get along with it later.
Ridley Scott doesn't give a fuck, and it's good on him. He can do what he wants, but I do feel like if anyone were to raise any of these questions to me, he'd be like, well, it doesn't matter to this film, just enjoy it for what it is.
No.
Yeah.
Because he's created a masterpiece before,
and
he can't end it like this.
Again, obviously, he hasn't written any of these films. That's one part to it, and often.
Who wrote the first one?
Well, that would be a combination of the original creators, Dan O'Bannon and Ron Shusett, and then I believe David Giler.
Are they still alive?
Dan O'Bannon isn't. I know that much.
Well, get the other ones on the phone, Ridley.
I don't think they're still, but I mean, yeah. So there were different writers for Prometheus, different writers for Alien, and then different writers for this film. So he does incredibly well with the right script, I think. But I mean, as far as the direction goes in this film, you can't really fault it. It's a stunning film visually.
Yeah.
Great performances from most of the key cast.
But visually, you have the cinematographers and the VFX people.
Yeah, and then the effects were great too. For the most part, I think it's just it's a shame there's a few holes in the story. That's the only criticism, I think.
The effects look really great, but I didn't wear my glasses.
I'm looking forward to watching it again. Kind of. I mean, it's going to be a daunting watch because again, that image of Shaw just hits me in the gut every time I think about it. But
I didn't think that was that bad.
I did just because it was a character that I enjoyed so much.
I was worried about it for the last 10 minutes. I wanted to go and check on her because I heard a bang outside.
Yeah, it was a character that I really enjoyed, and just seeing her body desecrated was just terrible. Hated it. But yeah, so
I hope that we get to see some flashbacks and know when she died.
I doubt we will. I don't think that it's going to be seen as an important part of the story, and it will,
I feel like it's important.
I do too, but yeah. So that's it.
I hope he listens to the fans.
So that's about it. I am looking forward to the future installment. I'm not sure, where I rank this one with the other Alien films. Obviously, it's nowhere near the first two, but I'm looking forward to watching it again and just seeing how it holds up. It needs more time, I think. It's all too easy to watch a film for the first time and go, oh, okay, this is this and this and that. Just need more time with it, I think. But I think we both really enjoyed it.
I want to read theories.
Theories, right? Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them out there already.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie and you have a theory on where the aliens, the facehuggers are coming from and stuff, and how David made them and stuff, please write your theory because I'm blank.
Brian, if you're watching, go nuts, because I know he'll have a lot to say about that.
Yes.
Especially as he's a big fan of this film and really enjoyed it. Right, so there we go. That's our discussion on the Alien Covenant. I think disappointing because it was really, really strong, and it's just felt like it was like falling at the last hurdle a little bit to send it home as a great film.
Because of the questions.
Because the questions and the few little minor niggles,
That's the only thing for me as well. If it wasn't because I like having questions answered,
Yeah.
That's how Rogue One was a good one.
I just hope that.
Okay, questions answers.
Yeah, I just hope that the next one ties it up. And again, it probably won't, but because this film's getting bad reviews, I hope it doesn't underperform to the point where it doesn't make enough money.
It's getting bad reviews already?
Yeah, people are kind of, they're not trashing it, but they're kind of, you know, saying it's pretty weak and things like that. And yeah. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching.
Fast and Furious 8 is getting great reviews.
Right, yeah, that's
and then they're trashing this one.
That's the thing. It's yeah.
Get a grip, people. Seriously. Get your mind straight about what good cinema is.
If anything, I think that you know, Fassbender really just makes this film so much, and that's such a great character.
I feel like he makes every film he's in.
True, yeah, he's great. He's brilliant, but David really is the Ripley of this series, because you know, and I say that as in he's the focal point, the main character that you're obviously hopefully going to be following through. I hope he's in the next one, because to set up a character that villainous and that kind of interesting and complex and then go, oh, we'll do something else with the next one, would be such a waste, I feel. But I don't know where they're going to take it with the next one, so yeah, I look forward to it. And yeah, thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down below, as Connie said, and we'll see you in the next one.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.